Okay, so today we're going to take a listen to a track called Distant Early Warning by Rush. Rush is a Canadian band, of course. I just did an interview with Terry Brown. I'm going to put the link in the description below. I did one about 2 weeks ago. It was really great to have him on the show. Amazing legacy. He was the producer of all of Rush's albums from the very first big one, Fly By Night, all the way up to Signals. And then after that, the Rush took a little turn with their sound a bit, and kind of keeping up with the synthesizer revolution of the early '80s. And this song is indicative of that. This is the first sort of step into that big produced, layered synthesizer world. And Terry Brown did a remix just recently, just dropped about a week ago, and it's the 2026 remix of this song done by Terry Brown, who is a very incredible producer in terms of like purity, the purity of sound. And we're going to listen to the two versions, and then have a chat about it. I'm going to react to it. And stick to the end of the video, because I'm going to talk to you about how you can win a big picture CD package. So stick to that, stick to the end of the video, and then I'll share with you about that. So let's have a listen to the original mix first, and then we're going to listen to the 2026 version.
Of the plain, there's no swimming in the heavy water, no singing in the acid rain. Red alert, red alert. It's so hard to stay together, passing through revolving doors. We need someone to talk to and someone to sweep the floors. Incomplete, incomplete. On my shoulders, but what am I to do?
Okay, so right there you can hear it's a very driving song, and you've got basically the three parts. A lot of Rush's music, it is really clever, complicated, hard to play guitar, bass, drums, very minimal overdubs. And now we're hearing synthesized. We're hearing a lot of layered sort of bell type synths and keys on top of that. And now let's go have a listen to the other version.
Of the plain, there's no swimming in the heavy water, no singing in the acid rain. Red alert, red alert.
Okay, right on. Let's just talk about that for a second. It's really cool. I love it. Terry, it sounds like a Terry Brown mix, which is really cool. Harkens back to the sound of, say, Tom Sawyer or Red Barchetta from the Moving Pictures era, and it actually sounds like it belongs. It's like a track. You can tell that it sounds like it's on Signals. It's on a previous album, and it's really cool because it's got a. Okay, so in the first one, when you listen to it, if we go back and listen to the first the synths in the first one, or just the sound of the. First of all, the synths are way, way, way louder. You know, they've almost become the most dominant thing in that little section that we just heard there. And also, there's a gated reverb on the drums. There's a gated reverb. You can hear it on the toms. You can hear it on the snare. Very indicative of that sound. Terry's version, it sort of strips it back to the more pure sound of the drums. And overall, the mix has got a darker, richer, more organic sound to it. You can tell the guitars have a little more low mid frequencies in them. Geddy Lee's voice also is much more real. It's not as affected. There's not so much processing on the track, and it's actually really cool when you hear it. It's a very different vibe.
Rising across the cities of the plain.
Also, you know, there's a lot of high end, sort of a sibilance in the voice as well. In general, the mix is a lot brighter. Not necessarily a good thing, but very indicative of the sound of the time. And when we listen to the other one,
Red alert! It's so hard to stay together, passing through revolving doors.
yeah, you can see there's like a warmth. There's a warmth to it, and it sounds a lot more sort of less brittle, let's say.
We need someone to talk to and someone to sweep the floors. Incomplete. The world weighs on my shoulders, but what am I to do? Yes, sometimes I be.
Right there, you can hear, because you know he's Terry would be, I would assume, mixing from the original source recording, and you can hear the depth in that snare that's sort of taken away in the early version. So this current version there's a lot more of a wholeness to the bottom end, and that richness. You know, really does sound more like a late 70s, very early 80s drum tone, which, you know, you can hear on moving pictures and all of that. So it's actually really cool. So I'm just going to go forward a bit more, and let's have a listen to some of the end of this track. Okay, so right there you can tell what Terry's done is he's really, really focused on the sound of the band as a trio, and that power, that, you know, the thing that we love about Rush. I think that the synths in the original version of the 80s mix do give it a kind of a more sci-fi vibe to it. But this, you know, you could be listening to like a Foo Fighters passage or something, which is really cool, because you know when you add that sort of more full range of EQ to the guitar to fill that out, you don't need the synthesizers, and the drums really do sound more like they're right in front of you instead of processed. So there's a realness. It sounds like you're actually in front of the band on a stage, and the bass in this song, I should note, more contrary to other Rush tunes previously, I find, in my opinion, Geddy Lee's not playing as animated of a bass line, probably because the synthesizers were holding a lot of the low end as well. And so there's not as much, I mean, the bass playing is incredible, it's Geddy Lee, but like there's more movement in a lot of the other stuff from previous. He's still, you know, digging in and getting a lot of that, but there's more roots, and it's a little bit more simple. In, you know, as far as Geddy Lee is concerned, it's more simple compared to some of the other stuff. And that's probably because the synthesizers were filling out a lot of the low end. And so that is something that's noticeable there as well. And it's interesting to hear. I hear the bass line more now. I hear what's actually going on because it's not drowned in synths. It's interesting with Neil Peart's drum fill there. You know, before in the other version, it almost sounds like, to me, it sounds like a wave of like a bunch of static, because all the low end was taken away from the kit. Not all the low end, of course, but there's a lot of there's a lot more sizzle on the drum kit. And this one, where there's a lot more richness and darkness to the drums, it actually does sound like a machine gun to me. It sounds like more like battle happening, which is really cool for the song itself. I love Terry's approach to drums, because that drum kit, you know, you can really hear that China, you know, and there's a full spectrum going on in the drums. It hasn't been carved out. When you say carving out in music, in a mix where they carve out holes in the equalization, in the EQ, to let other things fit. So let's say a synthesizer was put in, a big synth line, and it's taking up a lot of frequency range. You would carve out the drums so that the snare would pop out, because in here, Terry's left a lot more space, so you could have the snare to be much fuller and more rich, which makes the drums sound much more like it would if you were in front of them.
The world weighs on my shoulders. What am I to do? Yeah, sometimes drive me crazy, but I worry about you. I know it makes no difference to what you're going through, but I see the tip of the iceberg.
It's very interesting. I'm hearing stuff that I knew that was there before, but I'm hearing more detail in the drum part as well, and a much more present, upfront, less processed vocal. Yeah, it's really cool. It's actually a really incredible take, and I hope that you know, Terry had mentioned in our interview. Again, go watch the interview. That he's working on some really cool stuff with Rush, with new versions of things. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing other stuff. And so thank you for reacting to this with me. Let me know what you think in the comments. And that brings me to, I'll mention this in a couple of videos. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and do a couple of contests where you can win some big picture stuff. I know a lot of you guys are big picture fans out there still watching. And I'm going to put together just a package of both CDs. I still have one little box of them that I found, and I'll send it out to the lucky winner. And basically what I'd like to do is say that the person who comments the most in the next week of my videos, the person who comments on all of my videos, I'm going to keep track of them, and the one who reacts or says something about the video, and then whoever does that over the next week, so it's Friday right now, between now and next Friday of whatever videos come out, and I'll count and see. And it won't be the last contest, so if you don't get it this time, I will run other ones. But yeah, please like, comment, share, and interact with my videos. I'm trying to get that algorithm back onto my channel, or at least get the algorithm knowing that you guys are interacting with me. So thanks very much, and I will see you in the next video. And again, please leave a comment, and go watch the Terry Brown video. It was a great privilege to be able to chat with him, and I'd love to share that with you. So it's on my channel, and hope you enjoy it. Okay, take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.